Rikard, always good to see you. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us. As the non-executive chairman of the Hellenic, Hydrocarbons and Energy Resources, and as an energy and infrastructure leader with 20 years of global board and C-suite experience, we wanted to explore a couple of different topics with you. While we are still in the first half of the conference, what is your impression of this session so far?
Thank you, Jennifer. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I think it's been a good conference. I think that the COP process is one that invites for a sense of ambivalence. On the one hand, it's a frustrating process. It is often binary. We have one side who argues that there is a huge threat and therefore we need to immediately take action on all those drivers that is driving that threat. The argument to that is, yes, we have an understanding and a shared view of the threat, but we don't necessarily have all the mechanisms and the plans to actually eliminate all those drivers today. So we need to develop a staged process for how we do that, which is in return then met with the argument, or rather a deep-seated suspicion, is there really then genuinely a desire to drive towards that threat elimination, if you want, or is this just a fig leaf, an excuse for actually continuing with what we're having? Then you get a certain circular argument, and that's been going on for a long time. So that is a frustrating aspect of it. But on the other hand, I think it's hugely encouraging and inspiring. You know, to my knowledge, this is the only event in the world where you have almost 200 heads of state and senior leaders from just about every part of politics, civil society, industry, getting together, sitting down to actually try to come up with a solution to this potential crisis and threat. So I choose to take a very positive impression from it. I think it's been some fantastic days, but yes, it would be naive to say that this is not a process that has a fair share of contention, and it's a very challenging process.
Thank you. And so for someone who has helped transform a national oil and gas company into an energy resources company, including renewables and the decarbonization programs, how has that approach been received, and what lessons can you offer to other countries?
It has been received very well. I think from all sides. We try to take a very pragmatic approach to this. The way we're looking at this is from a vantage point of saying, you know, the arithmetics here is pretty straightforward. We need to decarbonize. We need to have less carbon and greenhouse gases into the system. That is a given. Now, the way that we can achieve that is by shifting to new low carbon and no carbon technologies. There is the option, but understand me correctly when I say option, to utilize existing technologies, but then we need to capture the carbon before it gets into the atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And there is the option of simply fundamentally changing our consumption and behavior patterns. And as we're looking at across all these options, we also need to do that in a way that balances sustainability, that it balances cost and affordability, and that balances the security and energy security components of this. So it's hugely complex in how we achieve this. What we have done is we have tried to bring a lot of these elements now under one umbrella. I don't think that there is not one of these solutions that can be deployed all by itself, but by bringing all the solutions to the table, I think we do have, and I am absolutely convinced that there is the opportunity to beat the clock on this. So we have brought this under one umbrella, where we do have our legacy business in hydrocarbons, focused on natural gas, but we have also deployed programs for offshore wind, for decarbonization, for carbon sequestration, for storage, and for infrastructure. So I think that by bringing these pieces together, we have a much better chance of accelerating the transition to a more sustainable future, because we can better control some of these synergies.
And so to follow up on that, you moderated a session yesterday with the CEO of Wind Europe, Giles Dixon, and your friend and colleague, Deputy Energy and Environment Minister, Alexandra Stoupu, who has long been leading the efforts to develop the Greek offshore wind sector. What came out of that discussion?
I think the most important is there is a wide recognition here that Greece is actually very aggressively leading this. The Greek Prime Minister is very clear on where the country needs to go and driving the decarbonization strategy. As you said yourself, the minister is a long proponent and has been a very influential voice in reshaping this energy landscape. So they have been immensely helpful in driving the process of establishing these new programs. We launched the national program for offshore wind now about a week and a half ago, and the response that we got from Giles was, this is arguably one of, if not the best program in Europe, and that fills me with a lot of joy, obviously. But I think that means that we can deliver. We then had follow-up meetings on this as well. There was a second debate with investors, which also shared that resounding endorsement. The message that stayed with me was, go big, we like this, and we are ready to invest. So I take away something very positive from these conversations.
Well, thank you for being so generous with your time, Rikard. Look forward to see you in London in the new year.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.